Welcome to the Arizona Wildcat Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with a rested Daniel Burke.
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite yet.
I'm going to embarrass you.
All right.
3 Grateful Dead shows in 3 days in Chicago.
Yes. With my dad and brother, so this was not like some, I don't want people getting the wrong idea here. But yes, I'm still recovering. It was a lot of music, a lot of late nights, but a great time.
The Burkes are a family of deadheads, are they
We
not?
are, absolutely. It's in our culture, just like Bill Walton. Hung out with the big redhead. No, I didn't. But saw him, and it was a fun weekend. But now that all that really means is we're getting close to ball now. Now that's over.
Ball meaning
Football.
U of A football
Yes.
season. Pac-12 Media Days later this month.
Yeah.
They open camp early next month. Then next thing you know, football season. You had a great story in today's Star about Arizona's non-conference opponents and kind of what to expect. This is not the most interesting group of 3 teams you've ever seen. Take us through that.
It's not murderer's row.
No.
It's but for what they have to do this year, playing 12 games in 12 weeks, and with how competitive the Pac-12 South is right now, I think it's a schedule that suits them fine, and it worked last year for them. So they open up on a Thursday night with UTSA. I saw a preliminary line, that favors Arizona by 30.5 points. For entertainment purposes only, of course. But UTSA only returns 5 starters out of 22. Then the next week they go to Reno, which in Play Nevada, which Washington State went there last year and lost. So that game will be one of those tricky road games like UTSA. And then they come home and they play the Lumberjacks of NAU, the Castile Bowl, as I'll be calling it this year. Jake Castile versus Jeff Castile. So yeah, again, it's not. You're not bringing in Oklahoma State, not LSU or Wisconsin, some schools you've seen in the past. Not BYU, a school you'll see in the future. So it's not a very challenging slate, but I think, again, for what they have to do, it works.
Which of the 3 teams can really trip them up here? Because I have a notion, maybe you do too, that it's Nevada.
Yeah, it's the road game in Nevada because any road game's tricky. UTSA last year wasn't good. They ended up going 4-8, yet Arizona was a really nice Jared Tevis play away late from losing that game. So going on the road and playing in Nevada, in Reno, it's a late afternoon game. It's nationally televised. They'll be jacked up. That'll be a tough game whether Nevada's good or bad. The 2 home games against UTSA and NAU should be Anu Solomon resters in the second half.
Okay, so we might be able to see a Brandon Dawkins touchdown pass, Gerard Randall, things like that.
And I think they'll look to do that more this year in the non-conference games than in years past. In years past, Rodriguez was very happy leaving those guys out there in a lopsided game. But this year, with no bye week, if they're up 35-0 against NAU, or they're up 31-10 going into the third against you could see Gerard Randall, you could see Dawkins, you could see Nick Wilson get out of there. You could see Scooby. I know, that's crazy, but you could see Scooby take a few plays off. So that's something to watch this non-conference season, is keeping those guys fresh.
If I put a gun to your head right now,
please don't,
and said, will Anu Solomon start all 12 games this year? This is a guy who's been maybe not injury prone, but certainly often injured. He's got to play 12 consecutive games in 12 weeks. How much more important is it for guys like Randall and Dawkins to be ready? Because, I mean, do you think that he'll start all 12 games?
I do think he'll start all 12 games, but it'll be important to keep those guys ready too. At the same time, we saw last year, Jesse Scroggins came in on the road in a tough environment in Utah and still led them to victory. I think Rich Rodriguez and Rod Smith view it as they get these guys ready in practice more than games. But I do think Solomon, he was able to start all 14 as a freshman. I think he'll be more athletic and stronger this year. So if there was a gun to my head, I would say, yeah, I think Anu starts all 12.
If you had to describe Arizona's non-conference success with one Grateful Dead lyric, look at the camera, tell me what it would be.
Oh, man. Strangers stopping strangers just to shake their hands, because you don't know who they are, then you shake their hand after you beat them.
We got to stop there. That'll do it for this episode of the Arizona Wildcat Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. For Daniel Burke, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.
Try this matchup. Low prices and faster checkout. You can count on it at Fry's.